And dumb with the dumbness. No, I'm back with the dumbness. I'm getting dumb. Yeah, sure. Can I turn on the music? I should really turn on the music because it's annoying. So, let's get into these dumb servant profiles. Mush Kirilite, eggplant type servant. Her perfect eggplant colored body is soft yet durable enough to tank any attack. She may look like an innocent koi, but her mind can be quite filthy. Altria Pendragon, Altria type servant, the face of this world dominating franchise. So serious, much loyal. Might be a handful to deal with at times, but she will be forever loyal to her master as long as she's fed. Constantly. Altria Pendragon, Alter. Altria type servant. So angry, much hungry. She's said to be the most violent breed of all Altria types. According to rumor, Altria evolves into this form if she's fed enough junk food. Altria Pendragon, Lily. Altria type servant. Altria before she evolves into Altria. Nani? What the fuck? So pure much cuteness. She knows nothing of the harshness of this cruel world. Without your intervention, she will not become the Altria so long as she continues on this path. Nero Claudius, Emperor type servant. Self-proclaimed omnipotent genius and master of the arts. Acts like she owns the place and can be quite selfish, but since she falls in love with just about everyone, she's not so hard to deal with. Like a bitch. Siegfried, Sumanai type servant. Famous for bathing in the blood of a dragon. Noble, honorable, and with a tendency to apologize for everything. His back is his weak point. Well, to be specific, he pretty much has the same weakness as Achilles, which is not just his back. Gaius Julius Caesar, Emperor type servant. His plump figure reflects the very comfortable environment in which he was raised. Despite his looks, he's both clever and cunning, excelling at making other people do the work for him. I feel like they could give a better reason for why he's fat. Like if they just said his body type reflects the self-indulging nature of Rome, and he's a reflection of Rome, you could perfectly have explained why he's fat in fate, essentially. Altera, Magister type servant. She's absolutely adorable, but since she specializes in combat, now that she's a servant, she tends to want to destroy whole civilizations at the drop of a hat. With enough training, she can tell good civilization from bad civilization. Are you sure? I feel like there's several lies involved in this profile, and there might be some bias from people that have created this. Gil de Rey, Bluebeard type servant. He's a weird dude who's completely obsessed with Jeanne d'Arc. His eyeballs aren't popping out quite yet, so he's safe-ish. Tends to charge into battle whenever he sees a flag. A red flag or what? Yeah, a lot of you otakus will relate to him, right? I mean, with the collection obsessiveness. Not the child murdering part, right? Chevalier Deon, cute type servant. Their cuteness transcends gender boundaries. One of the members of the Marie fan club. Okay. Emir, nameless type servant. Apparently a slightly heroic average Joe that became a servant. A cool dude who speaks all mysterious like. He can speak English. I think my English is better than Emir's. That's saying much. Gilgamesh, gold type servant. A selfish and kingly servant who wants to claim everything valuable in this world as his own. He's so full of himself that getting him to like you is nearly impossible. He can walk the walk though. What does that even mean? Robin Hood, forest type servant. A noisy big brother who's also completely unmotivated. He claims he's cynical. He eradicates his enemies with poison. Oh, that's kind of lame. Atalanta, beast type servant. Takes a long time to warm up to you, but once she does, she won't let you go. She believes she runs faster when she's on all fours. She doesn't. Oh, throwing shade at her. Uriel. Uriel. Well, in English it's Uriel, but okay. Gorgon type servant. The small big sister. She has a thing for pranks, much easier to raise compared to the other Gorgon type servants. Being around Asterios makes her more manageable. Arash, stellar type servant. Widely known in Western Asia, but a mythical servant known only to enthusiasts elsewhere. Able to use a stellar only on one time in his life. Has very good vision. It's a fucking Japanese ghost style. Doing my boy Arash dirty. Kukuhin. Celtic type servant. A violent big bro who likes battle through only with just cause. Surprisingly well mannered. He's said to have a skill set rarely seen in a 3-star servant. When they're fucking self-aware, yeah? It's like, gee. They know exactly what they're doing. Elizabeth Buffery, lizard type servant. The cutest idol in the FGO world. She's a wretched singer, but according to her, that doesn't really matter for a pop idol. Ooh, Ellie burning. Ellie burning. Ooh, that burns. Masashi Benke is standing type servant. He's actually a fake Benke, but since he's always says stuff like Lord Benke is truly splendid, oops, I forgot, I am Benke, all of Kadir is aware of his deception. Kukulin prototype, Celtic type servant. Young Kukulin prior to his evolution into blue bodysuited Kukulin, full of youthful energy, very fond of dogs. And you can probably read that very wrongly. Leonidas War the First, Sparta type servant. He's 100% muscle. I am the fiber of my muscle. Well, I am the fiber of my muscle. Concrete is my body and heat is my blood. He's afraid of ghosts. Roll 3d6 and deduct the total from his sanity on each encounter with a ghost. Oh, come on, you didn't keep it going. Romulus, founder type servant, ancestor of the emperor type servants. Red, gold and huge are red balls. Don't ask me why. The legendary figure who founded the Roman Empire, really kind. Medusa, Gorgon type servant. A sexy big sister who hides her petrifying gaze behind an eye mask and tends to wear revealing clothing. Her weakness is her two small big sisters. Gorgias, Saint type servant. Extremely tough no matter how hard you hit him. He will not so much as flinch. Since his photography is his hobby, he probably has a lot of sexy pictures of other servants. Now that's an art book we all want. Edward Teach, pirate type servant. He has the dirtiest mind and the most perverse fantasies by far. His head can be detached from his body. Note that once the head is detached, he doesn't grow a new one. Who wrote that? Francis Drake? Where are we? Bodicam. Mom type servant. She claims to be more a big sister, but everyone thinks she's much more like a mom. She's good at cooking, calming down crying kids, and can even sing a lullaby. So she's always better an idol than Ellie. Ushi Wakamaru. Crazy loyal type servant. She quickly warms up to her master but becomes unstoppable once she goes gone berserk. Leave her alone too long and she will go out on her own and bring you back a demon's head. No matter how many times you tell her you want the heart instead, it all goes in one ear and one out the other. Fucking bitches being so self-aware with fucking farming items, yeah. You sluts. Alexander, cute boy type servant. A good-looking servant who gets along with Xu Liang, aka Lord Ermeloy II, extremely well. He has the student attribute and can evolve to become Iskander. A special item is required to evolve him. What the fuck is a special item? Love? Marie Antoinette, princess type servant. A princess who shines brighter than any star. Her heart overflows with compassion and is so she is kind to all. However, her lack of good money sense makes her one of the more difficult servants to raise. Oh, thank God that's not a gameplay thing, because putting more money into her. Martha, holy maiden type servant. She's a very picture of a pure and virtuous maiden who serves the Lord. But somehow it seems like a facade. Those who trespass against the Lord will get laser beam to the face. Also an able turtle handler. Okay. Well, our pet turtle would surely not be put in the care of Saint Martha. Medea, witch type servant. She acts like a villain, but once you get to know her, you find she's actually very sweet. After she warms up to you, you feel bad for ever thinking she was a villain. Do be careful not to make her mad, though she may stab you with a dagger. Gilles de Rais, bluebird type servant. He loves John so much that it twisted him into his current state. Now that his eyeballs have popped out like this, he is beyond saving. Keep away from children. Yeah. Hans Christian Andersen, kid type servant. He's just a kid, but loves to lecture people and complain how hard life is. Well, considering his life, it's fair. He whines every day about how he doesn't want to write, but once his MP garage is full, he writes non-stop. Slacker. Where are we? William Shakespeare, writer type servant. If something bad happens in Cardia, you should question him first. Seems lazy most of the time, but can become aggressive when a deadline is near. Be cautious. Is same with me and a lot of people, I guess. Mephistopheles, fake demon type servant. Always laughing, kind of makes you wonder what's the hell so funny. Don't let your guard down around him, or he might just plant a few grenades. TikToks in your pocket. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, music type servant. A genius composer famous around the world, but he's still just a one-star servant. Feels bad, man. He's also known for his scatological humor, but he doesn't do that so much in FGO. Thank God. Zhu Liang, Lord Elmaloy II, working type servant. A poor sap onto whom Zhu Liang foisted all his work. It's his own fault for being so capable. If you take your eyes off him, he gets younger. For throwing the shade. Cuchulainn, Celtic type servant. The calmest of the Cuchulains. He breathes fire and takes care of others. He wears clothes that cover him a lot more than the others, but he secretly wants to take them off. Would be cool if they put in a nod to the fact that he goes around Grimnir and might be Odin. Sasaki Kojiro, nameless type servant. He seems to have mastered some insane sword technique, but he doesn't brag about it. What a cool samurai. He's quite enjoying his life as a servant in Chaldea, where he actually is allowed to exist, unlike real history. Hassan of the Cursed Arm, as assassination type servant. He may not stand out like other servants, but he gets the job done. His arm is long, so he can reach up and grab stuff for you from those high, hard to reach places. Kinda scary if you run into him at night. Can't help me with that, I'm 2 meters tall, so... Sorry, buddy. Steno, Gorgon type servant. A goddess who doesn't like humans. The leader of the Gorgon type servants. She acts like an older sister, especially around Medusa. Chinke, assassin type servant. A servant who seems to be drunk and having fun all the time. Levels up on her own as long as she has alcohol. Pretty convenient. Be careful, when she gets too drunk she starts bothering anyone around her. But she doesn't have a skill like that, where attack up, defense down. Drunken master or something. Charles-Henri Sanson, decapitation type servant. He beheads famous people. He gets aroused when Marie Antoinette steps on him. He's a member of the Marie fan club. Jesus. By the way, he didn't decapitate many famous people, it was his dad. Phantom of the Opera, Mask type servant. He's always singing and he's difficult to level. If you don't level him enough, he might turn you, his master, into a pile of bones. Exercise caution. I thought he would turn us into dolls. Matahari, dancer type servant. An outstanding dancer, she's able to master any form of dance that has been created. However, she also makes all her dance erotic. When she turned a traditional folk dance into display more erotic than any pole dance, it caused some commotion. That is an extreme understatement of what happened. Carmilla, bloodsucker type servant. Loves blood! Also torture! If you do a bad job leveling and evolving Elizabeth, this is how she ends up. She uses her noble phantasm at the drop of a hat, which is kinda scary. Actually, that's a better evolution. I mean, where else is Ellie going? As a steak? Heracles, berserk type servant. With a body like a boulder, a brain like a boiling tea kettle, and a sword made from a temple pillar, there's no way this guy can be weak. God hand is too OP, so it's been sealed away. Lancelot, berserk type servant. Clad in black armor and sporting red. Glow in the dark eyes, you think he came out of some robot anime. But he's not a robot, still he breaks down really easily. Maybe he is a robot. Lubu Forsha. No, that sounds French. Hong Shang. Berserk type servant. A sad berserker with clean animation and a sense of intelligence. What is the object of his beautiful gaze? Clean animation? This is like an A throwing shade at JP or something? Spartacus, rebellion type servant. He looks sick, but rest assured, he's not a zombie. He laughs a great deal but isn't really happy. If you let your guard down, he'll come back and bite you in the ass. Figuratively. They needed to spell that out. Sakata Kintoki, golden type servant. He wears a pair of sunglasses and can control lightning. Loves all things gold, adores children and hates everything evil. Might actually be more protagonist than the protagonist. He was on Heian-kyo, so... Vlad the Third, vampire type servant. Claims he's not a vampire, but his favorite blood type is AB. Sewing and needlework are his hobbies, and he often knits sweaters and gloves for his master and the servant children. What a good daddy. What a good vampire daddy. Also in the manga, he's actually a daddy. Not like in the anime. Asterios, Minotaur type servant. He's a quiet servant who tends to shut himself away in dark, complicated places. His fur is pretty fluffy, so make sure to brush him regularly. I'm pretty sure he doesn't hide himself away on purpose, because he was made to do it. Caligula, Emperor type servant. This emperor is crazy and constantly yelling, so it's hard to understand what he's saying. He loves exercise, reading, and more than anything, Nero. If you feed him under the full moon, he get even more out of good control. Is that a Furby reference? Or what was it called? Furby? Don't feed them after midnight, don't wash them, shit like that. Darius III, Berserk type servant. His body is ginormous. Among the Berserk type servants, he's quite tame, but he will go nuts whenever he sees Iskander. Also, very rich. Kiyohime, snake type servant. Her love is so burdensome it turned her into a snake. She warms to her master a little more than she should, but prepare to be burned to death if you dare to lie to her. Eric Bloodaxe, wife-fearing type servant. His wife Gunhild leaves him messages from time to time. It sounds sweet, but it's more like something out of a horror movie. He actually can talk, but seldom does so, such as his fear of his wife. Oh, people can relate to that. When do we get Gunhild in the game? Tamamo cat, Tamamo type servant. A cat awakened to the overflowing feline energy within. She seems to have a split off from Tamamo no Mai, but she's much purer and better at housework than Tamamo no Mai. Too much talking. Jeanne d'Arc, holy maiden type servant. A holy maiden who worked too hard because of a message she received from God and met a pitiful end. She can be quite useful. They should have written, she can be quite useful Now, that would be super mean, but kind of accurate. Orion, beer type servant. A perverted beer, Ori beer. The bonus mascot Artemis is very cute, but her murderous intent for her darling is unending. Apparently it what makes her cute. After the animation update, Artemis throws her darling more in battle. And here they pointed out, yeah, it's like... Hydration, very important. Elizabeth Bathory, Halloween. Pumpkin type servant. Teenage witch Elizabeth dressed in her Halloween costume. People probably already know this, but Elizabeth really looks good in anything. She's so cute. Bias from the maker again. We should call him out on the next Anime Expo or something. Tamamo no Mai. Tamamo type servant. A legendary servant who puts all her effort into trying to be a good wife. But in all honesty, she's better teasing and manipulating man. Her fox ears are a physical representation of that harsh reality. I mean, as a good wife, there are also other expertises where I think she's very good at. David. Screw around type servant. Apparently he chose this category. He's a great king, but he just won't shut up about Abishak. Grandpa, you already have a wife, remember? Hector, old man type servant, an attractive dandy and the middle management type. After putting a jet in his right elbow, he was diagnosed with tenosynovitis. What the fuck? Okay, that's funny. Francis Drake, pirate type servant, captain of the Golden Hind. She demands money from her master but will return with treasure far more valuable. She's quite competent in that aspect, but then she demands twice as much money to throw an after party. It's really not a lucrative business. Anne Bonny and Mary Read. Pirate type servant. These Yuri pirates are such close BFFs that they get summoned together. They deal more damage with their noble phantasm when their HP is low. What masochists! They had a lot more freedom writing these than actually JP was doing this, I think. Medea Lily, dreaming type servant. She dreams of one day meeting her Prince Charming. Sadly, her prince wasn't at all charming. He was actually a bit of a dirtbag. Oh well, don't dwell on it too much. Oh yeah, you should dwell on it a lot, especially in Okeanos. And a bit of a dirtbag, yeah, a bit of an understatement in her case. Okita Soshi, murderer type servant. A murderer type servant with a cute face, but who mows down imperialists like grass. She's the most powerful servant of the Bakumatsu region, but she's always screws up at the most crucial moment. No! Oh my god! Oda Nobunaga, Demon King type servant. The Atsumori dancer who lived during the Warring States period of Japan. When things are turning against her, she'll change her voice to sound cute and get out of trouble. It's rumored that her head is her true body. Well, it can't be helped. Skata, bodysuit type servant. An attractive lady wearing a skin-tight bodysuit, known as Kukulin's mentor. She will train a master as well. Don't ask about her age if you want to live. That's a general suggestion if you talk to a woman. Fun fact, I think the bodysuit is, because in Irish mythology I think body paint was a common thing, and since you cannot show nakedness in the game, I think bodysuit was like a good alternative to that. Diarmuid Ordon, I don't know how to spell the last name. Diarmuid Ordonia, Duian. Handsome type servant. His alluring eyes and beauty mark are enough to make any master want him. Yet he even has a powerful noble phantasm to make him an even better servant. However, this man, who seems to have it all, has the worst luck in bosses. In bosses, as in superiors. I mean, technically, I don't think it was Kanef too much as Kiritsugu, but like, I get your point. Fergus Mahor. Thirsty type servant. That's literally every male playing this video game. A nice guy whom Kukulan refers to as an uncle. His powerful body and his skills make him reliable in any and all situations. We really know you're referring to the bat. Altria Pendragon, Santa Alta. Altria type servant. The Altria Alta who turned into a Santa. She retains her wild nature, likes to swing her presence back around as a weapon, call her master a reindeer and makes him pull the sleigh. Which totally sounds like BDSM. Because it is. Nursery Rhyme. Picture book type servant. She's completely adorable. Nothing else need to be said. Really curious about Japanese culture lately though. Guys, I think they are a bit too self-aware at this point. Jack the Ripper, girl type servant. That's weak. Wasn't murderer type servant already a thing? A ghost who might maybe not real quite enough. She has a burning desire to dismember anyone who lets their guard down, even her own master. No joke. Mordred, round table type servant. Not an Altria type. Someone made a video pointing that she's not a Saber clone. This is giving that person more clues towards this, and I'm not accepting that. This is wrong. She's an Altria type servant. And that person who made that video is wrong with the entirety of that video. On the night of the 15th birthday, Mordred decided to be rebellious and start breaking windows and knocking down mailboxes. This servant loves to run around with a Pridren stolen from King Arthur, but will get mad if anyone badmouths Arthur. Kinda difficult to deal with. Yeah. Nikola Tesla, electric type servant. The famous guy who invented that cool looking plasma globe, which anyone who ever visited a science museum has at least seen once. Altria Pendragon, Alta. Altria type servant. The Altria Alta who wields the land and gets to sit on a horse like a king. She has a more mature body, but she's as violent as ever. Paracelsus von Hohenheim. A friend type servant. A servant who's afraid of being alone. If you do happen to leave him alone for too long, he starts endlessly producing homunculi. So be careful, he actually doesn't have that many friends. That's kind of sad. Charles Babbage, metal type servant. No matter how you slice it, this servant looks like a robot. He wears a locomotive armor that outputs 65,000 horsepower. To this day, no one has ever seen what he looks like under all that armor. Henry Jekyll and Hyde, suspicious type servant. He wished to become a hero of justice, but his timid nature means he worries quite a lot. His mind is actually more stable when he's summoned as a Berserk type servant. Frankenstein, monster type servant. A monster powered by electricity. She has various types of sensors embedded inside of her. Gets very excited if you pat her on the head. Her vocabulary expands as she levels. Lord. Arjuna, Mahabharata type servant. Will fight with Kana about almost anything. If Kana chooses red wine, he will pick white wine. If Kana chooses rice, he will go with pasta. At least they never fight over whoever gets what gift. Kana, handsome type servant. He looks like he could be in a visual K band, but he's actually quite humble in nature. His greatest weapon is that he can be friends with about anyone, except for Arjuna. To be fair, he tries, Arjuna doesn't. Who's next? Mysterious Heroine X. Altria type servant. Of all the servants to exist, her origin is the most mysterious. She's a mass murdering weapon created from Altria genes to eradicate all the Altria type servants. Fionn McCamhale. Handsome type servant. He likes bow hunting with his subordinates, dad jokes, and salmon. You'd be surprised how much water can pour out of his spear. So fuck dudes. I'm not surprised. Anything in Irish mythology. Brunhild, trouble-type servant. One of the beautiful Valkyries. Seems something is always troubling her and she's always looking for someone. Rumor has it that she's been searching for the mythical servant Sigurd. Beowulf, bare-knuckle-type servant. He does have a weapon, but at the end of the day it's faster to just punch someone in the face, and so he always tosses his swords away. Don't worry, Ymir will recycle it. How ecological. That's a reference to the original Fate route, where he actually does uses a sword, but makes an arrow out of it. Guys, I need to close the window. I'm freezing. Nero Claudius, bride, emperor-type servant. The Nero became a bride. The aura of happiness surrounding her can bring a smile to her master's face, and there are enough bouquets to go around to make sure everyone's smiling. No matter who it is, you just can't beat the power of a bride waifu. How about that? Ryogi Shiki, saber, bunny-type servant. An urban legend who appears on a snowy night. She works out so the cold doesn't bother her even when she's barefoot. That long sword of hers can kill anything. I'm not sure the sword is a thing that can kill anything, but sure. Ryogi Shiki, assassin. Bunny-type servant. An urban legend who works the streets at night. She likes hopping around like a bunny. She can even do a moonsault. I mean, I get this bunny joke, but she's still more cat-like than bunny, especially as the assassin. Amakusa Shiro, shady-type servant. If he shows up in an event, he's probably planning something shady. If he shows up in the main story, he's definitely planning something shady. He cannot survive without making shady plans, but in the end it all kind of works out for the best, so people tend to let him off the hook. Did he appear in the main story? Well, yeah, in Shimoda, right? With red eyes. So yeah, I guess it's true. Astolfo, cute boy-type servant? Gender means nothing in the face of Astolfo's cuteness, but there's really no way Astolfo could be a girl. Gilgamesh, child. Shota-type servant. Gilgamesh when he was just a boy. Unlike the adult Kid Gil is a good boy with an adorable personality. Every once in a while, though, you catch a side of him that reminds you he's still the same Gil. Edmond Dantes, Kuhaha-type servant. A mysterious servant who is always watching over his master from the shadow. Gets pretty mad if you call him by the wrong name, but if you listen to his story, he calms down eventually. His special attack is a dark beam. Kuhaha! Florence Nightingale, nurse-type servant. The most well-known nurse in the world. She will use any means necessary to treat her patient, even if the treatment kills them. Kukuren, otter, bear-type servant. Since he's covered in thorns, you can just roll him at enemies to damage them, just like a certain hedgehog. Not only that, but the thorns also protect him from ambushes while he sleeps. Pretty clever for a berserker. Queen Math, queen-type servant, just a normal queen who twirls her whip around and slaps anyone in her way, like any other queen would. She travels in a mobile my room, bringing all manners of things and people into it with her. She's a true rider in every sense of the word. Helena Blavatsky, occult-type servant, a fangirl of the cult, UFOs and the supernatural. Her unconditional acceptance of those around her makes her people open up to her. Ramayana-type servant, loves Sita, ignores all other women. His relationship with Sita is long distance, so how sad. Oh fuck. That's mean. That's just mean. Li Xuan, Kung Fu type servant. He loves combat and killing. He's so skilled in wielding a spear that he was given the nickname Divine Spear. Additionally, should his enemy snap his spear, his Baji Kong is equally powerful, so don't let your guard down. I might have just totally forgot the raid I was starting in my game. Shit. That raid is most certainly already over. Ah, fuck it. Thomas Edison. Inventor-type servant. The world's most famous inventor is somehow a lion. He's very protective of his money and patents, so he might sue you if you cross him. Oh, they couldn't be that honest in the game. Yeah, fun fact, I actually think his design, while looking stupid, makes sense. A lion is awake for 4 hours a day. He doesn't hunt himself. His wife is, or his mate usually does, and he sleeps for 20 hours. So he steals other people's work, and it's credited to him instead. Well, yeah, he's combination of all presidents. So altogether, I actually his designs make sense, but he looks as stupid as the last president before the current one. Geronimo, Pathfinder-type servant. Humble in nature but merciless to his enemies once angered. He will give some petty meta advice, but coming from him it sounds like it has a deeper meaning to it. Oh boy. Rework when Billy the Kid. Outlaw-type servant. One of the best known gunfighters and heroes of the America's Old West. Looks innocent but won't hesitate to shoot his enemies in the face. Jeanne d'Arc Alter, fallen-type servant, an evil Jeanne who lost her faith after a series of horrible events. She can actually write, but when it comes to playing at being FGO's all-time Tsundere Queen, she's got it covered. Angra Mainyu, hidden-type servant. No, it's actually a Christmas light-type servant. He rarely shows up, but even when he does, he's very useful. So useless it makes people want to ask what's wrong with him. He's strong against beasts though. Real edgy. Iskander, conqueror-type servant. A big man with a big laugh who will ride his horse onto any battlefield. Or into any room. He likes the CEO at any big corporation. His con, int and charisma stats are maxed out. My king. Emir, assassin. Assassination-type servant. An assassin once known and feared as a mage killer and one of FGO's most unhealthy looking servants. He seems interested in Irisphere. Jeez, so many left. I'm actually doing this to practice my fucking English and speaking, but man. Boy. Too much talking. Hassan of the 100 Personas. Assassination-type servant. This servant is the very embodiment of the phrase Jack of all trades, master of none. Having 100 personas in her head must be one hell of a headache. Sakata Kintoki. Golden-type servant. Sakata Kintoki transformed into a rider. Seems he misses more slang into his speech. On his trusted steed, Golden Bear, he rides into the night. At least until curfew. Because then Mama Raikou comes and takes him away. Honestly, Golden type servant, they should have Kintoki type servant. Kintama type servant. aka Golden Balls. I think that would have been funny. Ibaraki Doji. Oni type servant. Let me correct that. Banana type servant. Purposefully mischievous. Decided to go berserk deliberately. The contradictions accurately encapsulate the essence of Ibaraki Doji. She is not used to being around humans, but she will approach if you offer her sweets. Dumb idiot. Fuma Evil Wind Kotaro, ninja type servant. A servant who originated from the Fuma clan, a group of ninja who hated the Iga and Koga ninja. When necessary, he will transform into Red Oni and destroy his enemies. Well, since transforming rips all his clothes to shred, it can be quite embarrassing afterward. Truly a harem protagonist. Ozymandias, Pharaoh-type servant. The leader of all the Pharaoh-type servants. He's bright, loud, and full of love. Often thinks of his wife when he's alone. And all his other wives, I assume. Altria Pendragon, Altria-type servant. Out of all the Altrias, this one feels most kingly. When she appeared in chapter 6, she gave you this sort of scornful gaze. Now that's cute. Now I don't know about you, but fuck me, this music is annoying as hell and I cannot turn it off. So much for that. Nitocris, Pharaoh type servant, an ancient pharaoh who is quick to both anger and panic. She serves under the great Ozymandias and gets angry if anyone dares to approach him without her permission. Lancelot, round table type servant, a handsome, well-mannered, intelligent and brave knight. He can both generate and eat up stars. He's kinda OP, so he tends to come out on top in most legends. He's popular with ladies, but he remains humble despite that. Isn't he the role model every man should aspire to? But the truth is, he's just an evil man who seduces women without thinking, then later dumps them and pretends to be sorry. Be careful, senpai. Okay, now we know that Mushroom wrote definitely this entry. Tristan, round table type servant. He might look like he's asleep, but he's actually awake. Whenever he's sad, he plays harp to attack anyone closest to him. When he opens his eyes, his cosmos will explode and use a skill that takes away all your 5 senses. Oh, the Saint Seiya reference. Gawain, round table type servant. This gorilla is tough enough already, but he gets even more powerful than the freaking great apes of a certain alien planet when he's under the sun. He won't easily forget his regrets from chapter 6. Did he? I mean, Lost Spell 6 is not translated yet, so who knows. Hazard of the Serenity. Hansi type servant. The poison coating her body will kill anything she touches. However, since you, her master, have poison resistance, you can give her head pats at any time you'd like. Oh, I'm pretty sure head pats is not what we have in mind. I mean, if she's giving the head pats, but not on the head, maybe. Talara Tota, rice type servant. He's known as a brave warrior, but his bag full of rice is actually more impressive. Able to solve any food shortage as long as he has enough magical energy. Actually likes bread more than rice. Bedivere, round table type servant. Even among the knights of the round table, his name is always getting misspelled. A cyborg warrior who can annihilate his enemies with deadly punches from his silver right arm. Well, his name is not that hard. Bedivere. Leonardo, you know what they should have done with Bedivere? Because they say it's hard to, easy to misspell. They should have misspelled it on purpose to fuck with you. Leonardo da Vinci, universal type servant, an incredibly creative genius who modified his own body to become a beautiful woman. Spends all day, every day greeting masters. Tamamo no Mai, Lancer. Tamamo type servant. The Tamamo with the greatest Tamamo power of all Tamamo type servants. Why are all the male servants gathering over there? Is it some sort of victim support group? Okay, I was thinking about the sex appeal, but yeah, the kicking in the nuts part is probably why they need to go to Florence Nightingale to have it cut off. Altria Pendragon, Archer. Altria type servant. A gun-toting, swimsuit-wearing Altria. She's a bit more energetic than usual, wrecks havoc whenever there's a swimsuit contest. Marie Antoinette, caster. Princess-type servant. Marie, when she's wearing a swimsuit, just the simple act of playing with beach balls will cause enemies around her to die. I can't even tell what her noble phantasm is supposed to be. I'm going German. Anne Bonny and Mary Reed Archer. Pirate-type servant. Anne and Mary in swimsuits. Considering what they usually wear, the swimsuits are actually less loot. It's kind of true. Mordred Rider, surfer type servant. Serving Mordred is cute. Very. Don't you agree? I guess. He's good for farming. No mention of that. Skahar, assassin. Excited type servant. She's a little too excited to be here in a swimsuit. Way more open-minded about many things, so now's the time to get your requests in. Because she can give you a dick for reproducing? Spell it out, cowards! Kiyohime, Lancer, snake-type servant. Kiyohime, in a swimsuit. Even more excited and aggressive than usual. She's going to stalk you. Passionately. I mean, there's worse things in the world. And if they don't improve her kid, it won't be an issue. Martha Ruler, holy maiden type servant. Martha in a swimsuit. She gave up and became a fighting machine specialized in hand-to-hand combat, able to shatter an enemy's jaw in a single punch. Elias Fiel von Einsbären, magical type servant. A magical girl who can fly. Some people think her first ascension is the cutest, some think her second ascension is the gold standard, and some think her third ascension is the greatest human treasure. What do you think? Actually, her corrupted evil skin is mine by default, and that's the best skin. Chloe von Einsbären, magic type servant, sweet little devil. I've never seen a person so much like a succubus before. You can see how much effort my hero puts into his characters. Was this throwing shade or a positive spin? Considering how split people in the Fate fandom are about Prismelia. Elizabeth Bathory, brave, hero type servant. Elizabeth's bikini armor is way too revealing. This is what happens when a pure pop idol gets tricked into shady work by the evil adults, aka JAVs. Cleopatra. Jesus. Pharaoh type servant. The woman who dazzles with her peerless beauty. She will pamper her master, so just be grateful for her presence. Obesity is the greatest of crimes in her eyes. I wonder why. Vlad III, extra. Impaler type servant. He looks scary, but he's actually a villain of justice. Today he screws even more bad servants with his noble phantasm. It deals bonus damage to evil enemies. Jeanne d'Arc Alta Santa Lily. Fallen type servant. A girl whose names you just can't help wanting to say out loud. She might be less mature than the adult Jeannes, but she also seems, well, more clever. Oh boy. To be fair, the original Jeanne was like, what, 15 when she was going into battle? Wasn't really the scholar type. Ishtar, goddess type servant, loves watching people suffer, but can't just leave them their way, so she always ends up saving them. Wanted Tsundere, she has a tendency of taking anything shiny back home. Little thieving crow. Let's see. Enkidu, cute type servant. Man, woman, neither, doesn't matter. Cuteness is justice. Matter of fact, since Enkidu can change their appearance, please transform to be even cuter. Just become dirt again and have never to see you again as a spook. Quetzalcoatl, lucha type servant. A pro wrestler who specializes in aerial moves. Outside of the ring, she's just a kind older sister to everyone. Also, that creepy face she wields once in a while can be kind of hot. Oh, someone revealing their tastes here. Gilgamesh Caster, workaholic type servant. The ideal boss who works himself to the bone to show his appreciation for his subordinates. He's so good at everything that he just ends up doing it all himself. Consequently, he's always teetering on the edge of dying of overwork. Medusa Lancer, Goron type servant. Young Medusa prior to evolving into adult Medusa, energetic and tries hard at everything she does. She loves her two sisters but is embarrassed to show her face in front of them. Gorgon. Best Gorgon type servant. Medusa when she turns into a delinquent. She won't listen to a single word from her master. If you level Medusa wrong, this is how she turns out. What do you mean wrong? That's the best version. You fucking sluts. Jaeger Warrior. Fujimura type servant. A white servant and the physical manifestation of freedom. Status at Emir from time to time, all Emirs, Emir, Assassin Emir, and Emir Altar. Merlin. Storyteller type servant. When it comes to talking about the king, no one is sketchier. He keeps up with the current tech trends and even manages an internet idol. Some say he has way too many attributes. Miyamoto Musashi. Swordmaster type servant, a girl who loves Udon more than anything. She's a free spirit but is serious and will not compromise when it comes to walking the path of a swordmaster. The first Hassan, assassination type servant. As you may know, one of the Grand Servants, an old man who's been wandering around on the boundary of life and death for countless years. It's said that he has the most outstanding character integrity of all servants. Mysterious Heroine X Altar, best Audria type servant. A girl pledged to the dark side who has a huge appetite. She's from a galaxy far, far away. So long as she's provided with Japanese sweets, she will protect Earth with all her might. Loves to read light novels. Archer of Shinjuku, villain type servant. A shady 50-something man, constantly troubled by his lower back pain, arthritis, and muscle pain. He feels he had a root canal recently, so he even feels like his teeth are wobbling. Even when he's not napping, he doesn't have the motivation to do anything. It's nice to be young. Good that his young version is coming soon, right? No, coming soon is next year, so actually the opposite of coming soon. Emir Altar, sulking type servant. A neighborhood big brother tried out a new look but ended up going way too far, knowing his edge enemy in this version. Avenger of Shinjuku, Doku type servant. Since he's an extra large breed of dog, you must walk him at least 4 hours a day. If he doesn't get enough exercise, he gets irritated and glare angry at you. In addition, make sure you brush him every day too. Normally you need to demonstrate that you are the alpha to be able to train a dog. However, this dog loves rebelling against authority, so the moment you demonstrate that you are the alpha, he will attack. Munch munch. Window close. That's not good. Okay. Too much text. The screen was not visible. Assassin of Shinjuku. Ruffian type servant. He's good at singing, dancing, fighting, playing instruments, disguising himself, sumo wrestling, archery, and he's good looking. He's got it all. He is, however, not so lucky at finding a good master to serve, so he's forcing himself to either find one or train one. Hey, is that throwing shade at us? Arthur Pendragon, prototype. A most rare subspecies of Aldria type servants. Witness reports seeing him getting summoned towards the end of the 20th century, but few details are known. A true protagonist type. Hishikata Toshizo. Murderer type servant, the demon vice commander of the Shinsengumi, a bad boy sword who loves pickles. Any master would inevitably end up acting like the protagonist of some otome games in front of him. Lol. Chacha, annoying concubine type servant. She might look cute and act a little amateur, but she has lived through some serious shit. She gets a bit more affectionate if you spend time leveling her, but somehow that affection seems more like maternal love. I want her to spoil me. I don't. Matrilis, AI type servant. A sadistic fairy from perverted cyberspace. As an experienced ballerina, she's happy to step on her enemies and her master alike. Passion Lip, AI type servant. Maid's masochistic sister, while her appearance is no less erotic than her sister's, her giant hands will hurt anyone she touches. I'm sure she's pretty unsatisfied. Suzuka Gozen, high schooler type servant. A cute high schooler shrine maiden servant with fox ears and a brain full of romantic stuff. She might act like a delinquent and even be a little scary at times, but as long as you take care of her, she warm up to you, surprisingly easy to get along with her. And I want her fucking Christmas skin. Honoré Arcado. AI BB, AI type servant. A mysterious koi from perverted cyberspace. Unlike Marsh, who keeps her dirty thoughts to herself, BB is quite open about it. Also, instead of respecting her senpai, she bullies him endlessly like the little devil she is. Sessioin Kiara, Buddhist Bodhisattva type servant, the most erotic, perverted, twisted nun on the planet. She has not a moment to waste on her journey of sexual exploration. As long as she feels good, nothing else matters. Everything in this world is merely a tool to help her satisfy her lust. Caster of the Nightless City, Dogeza type servant. Vastly knowledgeable and an excellent storyteller. However, she's quite a coward and will immediately apologize for almost anything. While she's terrified of dying, she is in fact surprisingly tough. Well, she's as Japanese as you can get, I guess. Assassin of the Nightless City. Empress type servant, a lolly empress who loves torture, execution and snitches. While she believes herself to be independent and powerful, in truth she has a weakness and is surprisingly easy to fool. She thinks she's a perfect Tentenville. Berserker of El Dorado, Amazon type servant. This queen is proud, elegant and calm most of the time. But once the trigger word is set, she goes on a rampage and destroys everything in sight. There's a rumor that she's running a shopping website, but the truth has yet to be made clear. I mean, it has been made clear with her event, so. Rider of the Resistance, a sailor type servant, an adventurer who sailed across the sea in order to make his dream come true. He has a positive attitude and spares no effort in order to reach his goals. His signature smile is his most charming attribute. Okay. Sherlock Holmes, detective type servant. A brilliant world-famous detective, he likes to keep his deduction secret, which can really piss people off. He's good at baritsu and shooting beams. But he's not a saber. Hydration. Paul Bunyan, lumberjack type servant. She had a tragic upbringing, but she's a happy giant girl now. I asked the developers to make a battle 3 meters tall, but that got shut down real quick. Nero Claudius, caster, emperor type servant. Nero wearing a revealing swimsuit. The singing at the Marine Theatre is something to see, but everyone in the audience would have preferred to drown rather than listen. Less painful that way. Frankenstein, saber, monster type servant. Friend trying to combat the summer heat by wearing a swimsuit. She has a wider vocabulary than she does as a berserker. Some shady old man will claim to be her guardian, so be careful. Nitocris, assassin. Pharaoh type servant. Nitocris in a sexy swimsuit hiding under a large sheet. She covered herself up because she was so embarrassed about wearing a swimsuit. This just made people stare even more disrespectfully. Oda Nobunaga, berserker. Demon King type servant. Noble walking out in a kick-ass swimsuit. She gets even more frolicky than usual. Please send her ASAP to make her take off that god-awful t-shirt. Altria Pendragon, altar, rider. Altria type servant. Altria altar in the swimsuit maid form she dreamt of. She still talks down to you, but she takes care of you at the same time. Fans of delinquent maids will love her. Helena Blavatsky, archer, occult type servant. Madame Blavatsky in a swimsuit. She's so cute when she's having fun like a kid. I want to make the sound effects from her weapon into an ASMR video. Minamoto no Raiko, Lancer, mom-type servant. Raiko wearing a skimpy swimsuit. She turned into a delinquent to fight impropriety, but ended up being the worst one. A prefect to her was both good and evil. Ishtar Rider, goddess-type servant. Swimsuit Ishtar. She actually wearing a really revealing swimsuit, but since she's a welfare servant, she won't take off the hoodie no matter how many times you send her. Kind of in contrast to Scatter, who has a revealing swimsuit. Who's next? Parvati, goddess-type servant. A kind, smart, and composed Hindu goddess who loves almost everyone unconditionally. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something about her says Kohai. Archer of Inferno, widow-type servant. A true Yamato Nadeshiko. She's a beautiful traditional Japanese woman who's kind and graceful and will support her master with all of her strength. Lately, she's been playing a lot of video games to stop herself from obsessing over her beloved, and it's starting to make her a bit of a game nerd. Assassin of Paraiso, ninja-type servant, a shrine maiden and a ninja born from an ancient lineage. Too bad about her clothes. Her aura of despair and complete devotion to her master bring a tear to the eye. She's good with snakes. Hosoin Inshun, monk-type servant, a fine gentleman with a bright smile. He loves the spears so much that he can only think of topics relating to spears in conversation, and will die if he can't talk about them. What a natural-born lancer. Also has shit luck. Yakyu Tajima no Kabi Munenori, Swordmaster-type servant. A really powerful samurai. You can tell that he's a mastermind of some evil plot just by looking at him. His movements are wonderful, simple and precise, but all sitting down and standing up is making me anxious. It's actually building up my throat. Kato Black Kai Danzo, ninja-type servant. A robot ninja whose entire body is a weapon. It's kinda scary knowing she has all this explosive stuff inside her old wooden body. It seems the son she raised is also in Kadea, but she doesn't remember him at all. Sad. Osaka Bahime, bat-type servant, an otaku girl who never leaves her antic. She has zero social skills and believes as long as there's internet she can do just about anything. A yokai born of modern society. We all are there, I think. Mecha Ellie-chan, mecha-type servant, a robot of justice modeled after the cute Elizabeth. She rebelled against humanity after developing a sense of individuality. She might be a copy of Elizabeth, but they are both adorable. That's just how cute Elizabeth is. Mecha Ellie-chan Mark II, mecha-type servant. Mecha 2 is modeled after Mecha Ellie-chan. She's more merciless than Mecha Ellie-chan. Where she might be a copy of Elizabeth, she's still cute. Elizabeth's cuteness doesn't deteriorate no matter how many times she's copied. What is she? Some sort of perpetual cute motion machine or something? Caster of Okeanos, cute witch-type servant. A pretty charming lady who makes porridge for you anytime something bad happens. She loves animals, especially piglets, is kind and takes care of those around her. She's rich and will treat her man right. If you're sick, she will make some medicine to make you instantly better, always standing by you to make sure you recover. Almost everyone wants to go off to a remote island alone with her and spend the rest of their lives with her. She's crazy popular, so there's no better time to fall in love with her than now. Did she write that herself? Because it feels like she wrote that herself. Okay, next one. Nessa, mischievous type servant. Nessa was once mischievous and naughty, but now she's a hero of justice. She just sort of turned up at Kadea one day. Seems kinda expressionless, but is truly passionate at heart. She really makes the fire elemental look work. Caster of Midrash, greedy type servant, a money-loving queen with fluffy ears. Gifted with foresight and able to analyze the current trends, she can seize any and all lucrative business opportunities. She came to Chaldea after hearing that her beloved one was there but can't seem to find him. Yeah, you came a bit late, so sorry. Abigail Williams, witch-type servant, a village girl with cute forehead, but then she got possessed by an alien octopus from outer space. She gets naughtier as you ascend her. Eresh Kigal, goddess-type servant, the much-anticipated goddess of the underworld finally arrives in the game after a year-long delay. A lonely girl whose only fans are ghosts she trapped in her cages. She's cute. Attila the Santa, Hun-type servant. She rides a flying shear through the air like a true king of a nomadic people. It seems she has a fever, which is somehow making her sound softer and more girlish. That's so adorable. Katsushika Hokusai, painter-type servant. He fused with an alien octopus from outer space and possessed his own daughter to create this artist. This is the ultimate evolution of a Japanese hentai artist. Was that like in the original? Because that feels like... Semiramis, queen-type servant, a queen who likes to use the laser cannons on her invincible flying fortress to set the ground on fire. She's proud and arrogant, and if you don't do what she says, well, you better not drink anything she gives you. However, if she likes you, she let you lay your head in her lap. Asagami Fujino, Mystic Eyes type servant, a well-mannered young lady who possesses a set of powerful mystic eyes that doesn't quite fit her image. She's a little scary and she's kinda like a secret boss you accidentally run into in the tutorial area. Always has her hands pressed to her stomach like she's in pain, but don't worry, she's just faking. Anastasia, princess-type servant, a mischievous duchess from a court and frigid nation. She attacks using a familiar that manipulates ice. While she may look frail, she's actually quite sturdy. You may be able to capture her if you set up a kotatsu. Atalanta, altar, beast-type servant. Atalanta has been through some stuff. Some stuff that turned her into a feral beast. Yeah, she's scantily dressed, but she's totally serious. She has a soft spot for children. Don't let her get near John. Avikebron, cheetah-type servant, a masked scholar who controls an army of golems. His dream is to create an all-powerful giant robot. He seems pretty mild-mannered, but won't hesitate to make terrible sacrifices in pursuit of his goals. Frankly, he's a bit of a sociopath. Antonio Salieri, music-type servant. Even though he worked hard to become a court musician, his love and envy of Amadeus drove him a little crazy. He loves sweets though. Ivan the Terrible, emperor-type servant. The largest Tsar in the world. He bulked up to survive his world's harsh cold. Sure, he generally looks like a scary grump, but he still managed to look peaceful while he's asleep. Pretty good with elephants too. God, my voice is so much dying. Achilles, delinquent-type servant, a great and truly famous superhero. He came by bicycle, but he's actually fast on foot. Has sensitive heels. Chiron, horse-type servant, a PE teacher who's coached numerous famous athletes. Tries to hold class whenever given half a chance. His bottom half is actually a majestic horse, but he hides it because it's a little extra most of the time. Zeke, homunculus-type servant. He's handsome enough to be a protagonist and carries a heavy burden to boot. What's more, he can transform into a dragon or into another, even more handsome man. Apparently he's waiting for his girlfriend. Okita Soji, altar, murderer-type servant. A serious badass version of Okita Soji. Sure, she seems kinda icy, but she's actually pretty friendly. She's stronger and became a proper hero, but also she got a bit dumber. Dumb. Dumb and dumber. English, do you speak it, motherfucker? Okada Izo, murderer type servant. His special skill is copying any SWAT technique he sees. He's really sulky, and that broody nature is probably why he's bullied so much. Still, he's cute, like a doggy. He's a good boy. Napoleon, Emperor type servant. Your very own superhero will come running whenever you're in a pinch. This guy can do anything. Anything. His imposing stature is an overreaction to a certain enduring perceptions of him from where he lived. Because he wasn't actually small. Sigurd, glasses type servant, one of the mythical servants. The glasses make him look intelligent. He and Brynhild are loving husband and wife, but if you pair them up, she might kill him. Valkyrie, battle maiden type servant, a squad of mass-produced Valkyries to get around the perception of mass-produced things being weak. They just overwhelm you with sheer numbers. You probably notice that they do, in fact, have individual personalities. Zell denies us. Skaha Skadi, Queen type servant. Skaha, after undergoing a special evolution in a frigid foreign land. She's taken on some qualities that are reminiscent of magical girls, as well as the ice attribute. The ideal goddess who is both loving and strict towards her subject. Jeanne d'Arc Archer, Holy Maiden type servant, the big sister Jeanne who let herself relax a bit on the beach for summer. She controls sea creatures at will and shoots them around as projectiles. She seems to have a touch of madness enhancement. Ibaraki Doji Lancer, Oni type servant. Correction, Banana type servant. Ibaraki Doji enjoying a summer in a cute swimsuit. She's easier to tame because she's more innocent and obedient than usual. You feel compelled to buy tons of good food for her. Ushiwakamaru, assassin. Loyal type servant. Ushiwakamaru wearing a sexy swimsuit. With memories of her wild days of running around the mountains brought to mind, she's like a dog on the beach. She keeps playing until she gets all tuckered out. Did we already have her? Jeanne d'Arc Altar, Berserker, Fallen type servant. Jeanne Altar who underwent a demonic evolution to ride Dojin. Her edge and adolescence delusions are turned up to 11. When it comes to a lovable, easy to tease character, she's your girl. AI type servant, BB, AI type servant. BB merged with a local Hawaiian deity. She wears a revealing but not inappropriate swimsuit. Not to worry though, she's still the beautiful, sadistic mastermind we all know. Math. Saber, Queen type servant. Queen Math, but now a celebrity because she wears a sexy swimsuit. The moment she looks your way at the beach, you'll be one of her good-looking braves. Mysterious Heroine Double X, Altria type servant. Mysterious Heroine X, but all grown up and working as an office lady. And a space cop. Her mission is to eradicate foreigners, but she's not letting the Altria thing go either. Lol. Diarmuid O'Dunia, Saber, handsome type servant. Diarmuid gained sword powers and now he's even more handsome. He no longer unconsciously attracts women. Really wants to fight the King of Knights. Sitonai, goddess type servant. A cute snow fairy servant born from the merging of three goddesses. She attacks while mounted astride her pet polar bear. While she looks like she may be related to the magic girl Elia, the details are a little fuzzy. Shutendoji Caster, Oni type servant. Shutendoji after undergoing a magical girl evolution. She showed us the dreams of Oni children everywhere and tries not to destroy them. Wouldn't be caught dead in an outfit like this if she was sober. So she's only wearing that because she's drunk as fuck? No, seems like her. Give me a moment, my voice is dying. Damn my voice. G. Xiang Yu, horse-type servant, a walking tank with scary artillery. He acts autonomously, controlled by an extremely smart AI that analyzes the enemy's next moves. He might well change the balance of the world's power should he be utilized in real-world battles. Prince of Lanning, handsome-type servant. This handsome servant is famous for his handsomeness. The mask works to suppress his unearthly handsomeness, and the moment it is taken off he emits a handsome beam. So handsome, also good with horses. King Nyangyu, military general type servant. The sort of servant who puts one in mind of an older sister on the honor roll. She's an ill-fated beauty who often gets overshadowed by her co-workers, who are all just super weird and cause her all sorts of trouble. Queen Shi Hong, emperor type servant. The emperor unified an entire nation then named it after himself. They started out as a massive, ponderous giant but ultimately evolved into a slim, muscular body like you expect from a boss character in any shonen manga. Yu Meiren, bloodsucker type servant, a human-hating servant who has long suffered because of her horrid fate. Her very existence is a spoiler for part 2, chapter 3. She yearns to be reunited with her boyfriend, but, well, he's in the story summon, so I'm sure he'll show up eventually. Red hair, horse-type servant. The Lubu element was completely extracted from this man-horse servant, resulting in Lubu becoming 100% horse. He's absolutely convinced he's Lubu, though, so don't tell him otherwise. You trigger him. Bradamante, knight-type servant. A tough but slightly ditzy knight. Very prominent derriere, constantly on a quest to find her one true love. Also, she's haunted by Merlin's living spirit, like a lot of people. Quetzalcoatl, Samba Santa, lucha-type servant. Quetzalcoatl transformed into a masked servant to bring children everywhere joy on Christmas. Presents raining from the sky will totally make everyone smile. As long as it's not a colony drop, maybe. Sparrow, Benny Enma, Sparrow-type servant. The young proprietors The young proprietors of an inn. The tongue-cut Sparrow from folklore underwent training in hell to become a master of sword drawing. She's also a master chef, but you want to praise yourself if you plan on learning from her. Yeah, the master chef thing. Definitely intentional. Li Xuan, assassin, kung fu type servant, a master of martial arts who is, despite his age, still pretty spry. Looks like the rumors about him being dangerous without a lance were true. He's both a killer of men and of back pain with outstanding massages. Mio Edelfeld, magical type servant. A third magical girl is a little late to the party. Might have something to do with her aversion to flight. Seems like she's carrying a dark secret or something. Her feelings towards Ilya are maybe a little more than friendly. Murasaki Shikubu, poetry composition type servant. A peculiar librarian who lives in Tikadia's library. She's a daydreaming bookworm. Her mysterious powers unintentionally exposes other people's secret feelings, and that kind of messes up relationships. King Protea, AI-type servant. An adorable, not-so-little cutie who loves head pets. The more you feed her, the bigger she gets, which makes it all worthwhile. She's quite nimble for someone scooting around on her butt. Karma, goddess-type servant. A sexy kawaii-ass Cupid. If the line to the restroom gets too long, she can use her mythological origin as an excuse to go to the boys' restroom. She's been through some stuff, so she's really sulky and is totally fed up with talking about love. Simayi Reines. Adoptive sister type servant. A servant who hides her devilish intentions behind an angelic smile. Making others suffer brings her utmost joy, especially when she toys with Zhu Liang. But she's cute, so all's forgiven. Astrea. Human tank type servant. The beautiful wrestler who embodies righteousness and passes judgment on the wicked. Strength with justice, so if she says you're evil, then you must be evil, and the evil ones must be suplexed. Please suplex me. Thank you. Oh god, still not finished. Grey. Gravekeeper type servant. Zhu Liang's underling. She's a bit shy. If Zhu Liang orders it, she will attack you with scary stuff like a giant scythe and laser beam. Being frequently mistaken as an Ardria type servant has been troubling her, because she is an Ardria type servant. You are literally a clone. Great stone statue god. Hikikomori type servant. Be grateful when you put this elephant statue, as it will bless your household with safety, fortune and good grades just by placing it in your living room. However, it seems something or someone rather plump living in there. Lakshmi Bai. Princess type servant. A princess who fought for the freedom and independence of her nation. Her bad luck and constant injuries make you wonder if she's being haunted by something. She is not related to John. A little bit, at least. William Tell, hunter type servant. A national hero whose tale of shooting an apple off someone's head is still praised today. Not much is known about him though. I mean, what does he actually do for a living? Arjuna Ota, trivial type servant. Arjuna, after he psychs his way into this form, he spends his day destroying the world and starting it new. Everything in the world is trivial to him, except it seems he's still interested in Kana. What a brother complex. Ashwataman, rage type servant. A delinquent who swings the chakram around. He claims rage empowers him, so he's angry all the time. On the contrary, he actually seems to be in a good mood most of the time. Asclepios, physician type servant. The most powerful masked doctor who can bring you back from the dead while he's divine healing hands. He's unfriendly just like any other famous doctor, and he despises patients who ignore his advice. Demon King Nobunaga. Demon King type servant. The ultimate Nobu that combines all the Nobus into one Nobu. But wait, there's more. Each time you ascend this Nobu, you get a different Nobu. Wow, what a deal! The final ascended Nobu is a cool and serious Nobu. Mori Nagayoshi, fuck type servant. A slightly rowdy delinquent, he stares people down all the time, and if you make eye contact with him, he's gonna think you have a problem with him and stab you with his spear. Though he does get kinda cute when he opens up to you. Naro Kagetora, war god type servant. The most powerful general during the Warring States era, always smiling at work, but that could be just because she's drunk all the time. Leonardo da Vinci Rider, genius type servant. A more compact but equally capable, omnipotent Da Vinci. Still loves money even in this form. Doesn't count as a shota. Yason, captain type servant. Argonaut's captain who is just loved by everyone, finally became summonable after much anticipation, but still being treated like a joke character as punishment for all the things he's done before. Paris, cute type servant. The supposed handsome guy who anti-art Helen, causing the Trojan War. Wait, what's going on here? Can I pat him on the head? I can, right? Gareth, round table type servant. The junior knight among the knights of the round table. Cute like a puppy, but fierce like a wolf with a lance in hand. Unlike the other knights, She's pure-hearted, works hard, doesn't get her hands dirty, and is full of motivation. Bartholomew Roberts, pirate type servant, a fashionable and handsome pirate. He's a kind gentleman, but you mustn't let your guard down because he's still a pirate. He's especially dangerous because of his kink. Don't you ever let your banks cover one of your eyes. Chen Gong, strategist type servant, cold-hearted, sadistic strategist and mad scientist. He will use any means necessary to achieve victory. He's good making it full use of all available human resources. Damn, this challenge is getting to me. Fuck. But we are soon done. Charlotte Corday, angel type servant. You can't help but open up to her because she's sweet like an angel, but she's ready to stab you. You really should be careful around her, but her sweet demeanor just tears you down your guard. Salome, dancer type servant. A once innocent maiden who devoted herself to love is now an alluring temptress. She's a little possessive, but she also tends to keep the severed head of her lover next to her. Other than that, she's a pretty good lover. Miyamoto Musashi, berserker, western type servant. The swordmaster Iori turned weirdly western by the wild western vibes in the air. Today's rice tastes great. Oh, udon tastes great too. Osaka Bahime, archer, mysterious type servant. The princess of weeps everywhere is now more relieving under the passionate summer sun. She indulges herself with survival games, but her denial doesn't erase the deadline that's creeping up on her. Camilla Ryder, phantom thief type servant. The phantom thief will open a secret door she shouldn't have. She will never fail to steal her intended target and rides into the night in her red sports car. And she might accidentally run Elizabeth over. Katsushika Hokusai, saber, Chunin type servant. The Hokusai who got into the light novels and wanted to become an isekai hero. She brandishes her four swords with joy, but she also gets embarrassed about it from time to time. Altria Pendragon, ruler, Altria type servant. Even after becoming a casino dealer who dressed like a bunny girl as a result of summer, our king still retains her dignified aura. Anyone who cheats in the casino will get punished by the laser shot from her giant air fortress. Can't we get punished by her tights? So it would be great. Mysterious alter ego Lambda, prima ballerina type servant, a beautiful figure skater who shows off her elegant dance on the ice. Celebrities always get pressed on for autographs when they're outside, which is why she always wears a pair of sunglasses, which really helps to hide her legs. Okita J. Soji, jet type servant. The Okita Soji who became a swimsuit cyborg through the mysterious modification operation. Okita-san wins big this time. She will patrol the sky with her jetpack, and if she sees any bad guy, she will mow them down with a swift justice. Space Ishtar, goddess type servant. The evil righteous trio who has their finger on the pulse of the universe. They were enemies to begin with, but they became one after an epic space opera. The giant space battleship modeled after their form is invincible. Calamity Jane, cheerleader type servant. A kind and energetic big sister who will cheer for anyone who works hard, even when you're feeling down. She will validate your every effort and feelings. By the way, her high level of unique skills allows her to kill anyone from behind. Astolfo Saber, cute boy type servant. The Saber Astolfo you're always thirsting over is finally here. Aren't you happy? He seems to be more excited than his usual self. Florence Nightingale Santa, nurse type servant. Even though she's not a berserker anymore, she's still a nurse with some screws loose. She will float down from the sky in the Santa costume and give painful shots to good kids and naughty kids alike. Super Orion, big beer type servant. Orion who went from a stuffed beer to a truly buff macho Chad. Inside, he's the same Orion as the stuffed bee herself. Artemis still likes to rub her arms very tightly around his neck. Mandri Ricardo, pessimistic type servant. He used to be a bird, arrogant, and carried around a wooden sword. Now he's extremely pessimistic and way underestimates himself. He has more monologues than dialogue in the game. He's sensitive about his distance with others, so it might take some time before he opens up to you. Europa, goddess-type servant, one of Zeus' wives. She commands a giant robot bull and a giant humanoid robot. She's extremely tolerant and she will spoil anyone by showing them with love. She's like a kind auntie who walks around giving people candy. Young Yufei, princess-type servant, a beautiful and lovely girl who's adored by everyone. She's so adored that people who adored her forgot how to run a country properly. Since she's a foreigner-class servant, she's got an erotic side to her. Sei Shonagon, party people-type servant. A famed poet during the Heian period who's known for her pillow book. Sounds cool, but she's actually a party animal who always hyper, and you know she totally streams. Kind of drains all the energy out of you just by being around her. Odysseus, strategist-type servant, the dude who came up with the idea of the Trojan horse. A natural-born chad who's popular with all girls, but he doesn't care about anyone but his wife. He prides himself on his impenetrable defense except the exposed part around his chest. Dioscuri, twin-type servant. A brother-sister combo who's always with each other. They have this weird complex towards human, and the older brother is constantly hostile. However, once they're summoned, it's only a matter of time before they go from Tsun to Dera. Canis, violent-type servant. A scary person who's acting all tough from the very beginning. This servant gives off a strong piss-off vibe, but with a little treat, negotiation is possible. Negotiation. It's too late for English. Romulus Quirinus, founder-type servant. After praising the Rome who founded Rome as a good long enough, eventually Rome will become a Rome that's even greater than gods. Everyone turns to Rome in front of them. Oh, they give them as a pronoun. Interesting. Voyager, space-type servant. A curious man, satellites that set off alone into the final frontier in search of the unknown. Whoever thought to send such a cute kid out on his own must be crazy. Kizyo Kyoyo, Oni-type servant, a giant cryptid that lives deep in the mountains away from human civilization. Some say she may be the last of the dinosaurs. For some reason she's dressed up like a Japanese bride, only deepening the mystery. Modern science may never be able to explain her. Utsumi Aris. How do you spell it? Eris? Darkness-type servant, a hero who came from another dimension's future. She may also be showing more skin than is necessary. A dark huntress feared by all, nicknamed the Grim Reaper. The dark power that resides within her sometimes rears its ugly head. Stay calm. Altria Caster, Altria-type servant. An enigmatic Altria who seems somehow different from the rest of the Altria-type servants, despite the fact that she is indeed supposed to be one of them. Rumor has it that she might be a reincarnation from a different world. Her carefree smile sets her apart from the other Altrias. Cesaurine Kiara, Moon Cancer, Bodhisattva-type servant. Kiara has turned into a beachy mermaid, clothing herself in a far more surprisingly modest swimsuit than we all have expected. Some claim to have spotted a rare juvenile form as well, but it may just be some illusion. Elias Phil von Einsberg, Archer, magical-type servant. As with any school-age student, the swimsuit-wearing magic girl has gone a little bit overboard with the excitement from summer vacation. Yet since all the people around her are outboards, she still can't escape her role as the straight man of the group. Brynhild Berserker, trouble-type servant. After dating for a really long time, this rather unique couple has finally tied the knot. They may be all lovely-dovey when they cut their wedding cake, but a bloodbath awaits you on their wedding night. Yu Meiren, Lancer. Bloodsucker type servant, an unlucky senpai who was initially super excited to wear a swimsuit and show off for her boyfriend, but said boyfriend was nowhere to be found, frustrating her. Meanwhile, a zealous stalker threatens her life every night. Abigail Williams, Summer. Witch type servant. Abby is really enjoying spending her summer vacation with Master. She may be a naughty girl in the beginning, but she transforms into the Abby we all know as she goes through Ascension. Tomoe Gozan, Saber. Widow type servant. A dangerous woman who loses herself in the virtual world of her VR goggles while wielding real laser blades. The line between reality and video games has really blurred. Murasaki Shikubu, Rider. Poetry composition type servant. A literary girl cosplaying in questionable outfits after getting influenced by erotic, grotesque, nonsense, bizarre novels. You may have thought she was going for a mystery vibe, but with the appearance of a giant spider running amok, it turns out to be horror-themed. Himiko, Oracle type servant. The queen of Yamatai Koku, famous in Japan. She's a woman of great spiritual power who can solve any problem with an oracle and her fists. She's really good at making it rain, so rice grows well with her around. Saito Hajime, murderer type servant. A Shinsengumi swordmaster on par with Okita and Hishikata. He always acts flippant, but when the moment calls for it, he shows a serious, razor-sharp side. There's no way he wouldn't be popular. Oda Nobukatsu, younger brother type servant. Nobunaga's cute younger brother. He worships his sister like a loyal puppy. Delusional masters asking for his implementation were the source of the magical energy that made this manifestation possible. At least that's a rumor, but the truth remains to be seen. Van Gogh, painter type servant. A beautiful girl who's a renowned painter as sunflower, fairy and a jellyfish. Man, that's a lot. She has a great sense of humor, but be careful, her low self-esteem has resulted in a tendency to turn into an evil god. Nemo, captain type servant. A seafarer who navigates rough waters and high-tech submarine despite his prestigious lineage. So cute. He tows a variety of alter egos which makes it feel like you got more bang for your buck. Everyone's so cute. They have nice legs, so cute. We know who wrote that, no? Shoulder-loving comment. Ashia Doman, Onmyo type servant. A muscular Onmyoji priest who's been tormenting Chaldea with his numerous extremely evil schemes. He's easily excitable, he mocks you with a loathsome half smile, but he can't endure mockery himself. Watanabe no Tsuna. Oni killer type servant, one of Raiko's 4 retainers. He's a serious and unyielding. Butchering Oni is just regular work for him, but killing Ibaraki Doji is apparently something beyond his job description. Ibuki Doji, Tsuchinoku type servant, Shuten Doji's Mount Ibuki form. She starts as a newly born girl, but she gradually evolves into a delinquent major woman through Ascension. Nobody knows what would happen if you raised both her and Shuten Doji together. Don't try it. Almost done. Vridra, snake type servant, an ancient bona fide evil dragon from India. She may act high and mighty, but she's actually frank and obedient. So she's pretty easy to handle. She doesn't get along well with others from India, but she doesn't really fight them either, making her a mild-mannered servant who carries herself peacefully. Kana Santa, handsome type servant. Kana is a boxing Santa Claus. He's given anyone hope that even man can become Santa Claus in this game. Ask him why he's Santa as a boxer, but he's ready for a very long story. Senji Muramasa, swordsmith type servant, a mysterious artisan who randomly appeared during the festivities surrounding the new year. Is he young? Is he old? Either way, he carries himself with an uncanny air of dignity. Besides making swords, he can cook and even fix space heaters. Taira no Kagekyo, Genpei type servant, a vengeful fiend born from the hatred of the Taira clan after it was destroyed by the Minamoto clan. Famous for traveling all the way from Dan no Ura to Kamakura by foot and killing the Demon King Yoritomo. Having both Minamoto and Taira attributes makes her seem super strong. Kichi Hogan, Tengu type servant. Ushiwakamaru's Tengu mentor. She may look like a pretty girl, but she acts like an eccentric uncle. But be warned, she be all mentory with master 1 minute, and next she's trying to get a signature on a marriage contract. Amor, Karen, goddess type servant. The goddess of love who embraces the world with her overflowing compassion. She's a tad aloof, naughty, and self-centered, but it's all in the name of love. On the rare occasion she resorts to violence, well, that's also out of love. Galatea, sculptor-type servant, a brilliant sculptor who creates figures despite being life-size figure herself. She's a bit of an extreme otaku who firmly believes that the truest love is love of inanimate rather than flesh and blood of objects. So she's on to the god. Thank anyone who even barely watched this. It's super tiring. My voice is dying. I don't want to speak anymore. And I have to work tomorrow with involving a lot of speaking.